The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
I can't believe it. The New York Knicks have saved their season. Let's go, baby.
Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Wow, it is hard to believe that the Knicks were able to pull off that rally last night. Down by 20 in this game. Jalen Brunson in foul trouble. Karl-Anthony Towns in foul trouble. Deuce McBride in foul trouble. Indiana at home. That place rocking. The Knicks season on the line. If they lose, forget it. Down 0-3, never been done before. It would be over. And they pull off one of the great wins in franchise history to get back in this series. Truly a stunning turn of events. It felt like a funeral in the first half. I know I'm not alone. I tweeted, this is over. We're done. I'm pissed off with Karl-Anthony's shot selection. I'm pissed off with how the Knicks have played. I'm mad at the world. And the Knicks just kept fighting. And we have seen comebacks before by the Knicks in these playoffs. In fact, the Knicks have made history as the first team in the play-by-play era, meaning when they started tracking each individual play back in the 97-98 season. They're the first team to have 3 comebacks in the same postseason of 20 points or more. But the way they did it last night, it was the best one to date. Their season truly on the line. Down 0-2, on the road, hostile environment. And their best player had arguably his worst game in the playoffs as a Knick. Sure, Jalen Brunson came back in at the very end and had a huge clutch basket. Hit his free throws. But for the most part, the anatomy of this comeback was done without the best player on the court. The Knicks' best player. And the best player last night was a guy who has been heavily criticized at times, much maligned, and was heavily criticized by yours truly and many Knicks fans in this game. And that's Karl-Anthony Towns. What he did in that fourth quarter last night will go down in Knicks history. And if the Knicks pull off this comeback, and they still got a long way to go, let's be clear. Just because you win game 3, now you got to go and win game 4. That's what happens when you put yourself in a hole down 2-0, losing both in your building. But what Cat did last night, he took over the game. I mean, he was unstoppable. 20 points in that fourth quarter alone. It was just unbelievable to watch that play out. Just an absolute playoff shocker. What else can you say? They rallied from a 20-point deficit without their best player being the catalyst. Brunson on the bench for most of the second half with foul trouble. Just a stunning win. And so many players contributed. And more players than we're used to. Because of some of the foul trouble. And because of the Knicks' desperation. We saw guys play in this game last night that none of us could have expected to see. DeLon Wright, Landry Shamet, and these guys were out there and they were gutting it out. Landry Shamet was plus 12. Deuce McBride was plus 7. And his individual third quarter run that cut the deficit to 10 going into the fourth quarter. That was huge in this game for the Knicks. It was huge what they got from McBride. It was huge what they got from Wright. It was huge what they got from Shamet. Josh Hart off the bench, giving you 34 minutes. He was a plus 16 in the fourth quarter. The rebounds that he had at the end of the game, rewatching it again this morning. Huge for the Knicks' comeback attempt. The clutch free throws that he hit, that Brunson hit, huge. That's why they lost game 1. They missed 12 free throws. They missed 2 in the final minute. OG and Cat that night. Last night, that wasn't happening. The Knicks made all the clutch plays when they had to, including Hart and Brunson with the 6 clutch free throws in the final 20 seconds of the game. This team's now 6-1 on the road in the playoffs. They've tied a franchise record for their most road wins in a playoff run. For whatever reason, they play better on the road. And they're going to have to do it again tomorrow night. But let's talk about last night still. Let's enjoy last night because the Knicks are alive in a playoff series on Memorial Day for the first time in 25 years. That really was something last night. Unbelievable. Tom Thibodeau happened to go deeper into his bench. Quality minutes in a fourth quarter rally from Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Just unbelievable by the Knicks. The defense was so much better last night, and part of it was Indiana finally missed some shots, right? Indiana was just 5 of 25 from three-point range. They got outscored in that fourth quarter 36-20. This felt like it was over, though. Let's be real. The feeling I had at halftime, it was just like, wow, they're really going to go down like this. This is how this is going to end. This magical run. This is how it's just going to be done. Finito. And they pulled off a rally for the ages. They really did. Because to win this game, when your best players were in foul trouble, on the road, when your season is truly up against it, like the comebacks against Boston were incredible. It was game 1 and game 2 of the series. The comeback in game 4 of that series, down 14 points. You know what? You were still up in the series 2-1. This was truly put up or shut up time. You lose last night, your season is essentially over. Indiana led by 20 with 3:20 left in the first half, and the Knicks somehow got it to 13. Right? Bridges hit that big three before halftime. But even after that, I know they harped on that a lot on the broadcast last night. Knicks were down by 15 late in the third. Towns and Brunson had combined for more turnovers than made field goals. 7 versus 5. The comeback to me really started, and I brought this up just before. When Deuce McBride scored the 7 straight points late in the third, he makes it a 10-point game. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, for lack of a better way to describe what he did, he went into God mode last night. If you're a video game player, the sliders returned up to 99. Towns couldn't miss. He showed you why this guy was thought to be a generational prospect coming out of Kentucky. First pick in the draft. He was unguardable. That was the best we have ever seen Karl-Anthony Towns play, given the circumstances. Just unreal. They start the fourth quarter. Towns sinks the three-pointer off the Josh Hart offensive rebound. This is why Hart, by the way, was plus 16 coming off the bench. The guy's an absolute grinder, a warrior, gives you his all. His offensive rebounding last night, his defensive rebounding late in the game, so critical in this comeback. So Towns hits the 3 off the Hart rebound. Then he scores on consecutive drives and hits the 2 free throws. Towns follows up another three-pointer with a 3-point play. And all of a sudden, the Knicks are up 4 with 8:02 to go. They scored 25 of a possible 31 points to take the lead. And most of this happened without Jalen Brunson being out there. Unbelievable win. Unreal. And then still, give credit to Brunson, because while he was off for most of this game, and he has to stay out of foul trouble, it is imperative that he stays out of foul trouble. Ultimately, when they needed him to make some plays, he did what he does. That's why he's Jalen Brunson, a superstar. That's why he's the clutch player of the year. Hit the driving layup, tough shot with his right hand in the lane, and then the critical free throws, which he nailed both. Just an unbelievable win. I thought the Knicks were dead. Dead. How could you not? If you're a real Knicks fan, you cannot tell me at halftime you were overwhelmingly confident. Maybe Barkley saying they were done and cooked was the blessing that the Knicks needed. I don't know, but he felt like how we all felt. But what a job by McBride, Shamet, Wright, obviously Towns, obviously Hart. OG with some critical plays defensively. This was the total team effort. You could spend some time and highlight and accentuate any of the guys that were out there. It took everything. And after the Knicks blew game 1 the way they did, and the way they lost game 2, and they're down 20 in the first half, down 15 late in the third, for them to come back and win this game really is stunning. And it gives you a chance. You are right back in this series now. You're right back in it. Can they go out there and take what they did in game 3 and now apply it to a game 4? Can we see this 9-man rotation? Can we see this rotation for the Knicks? Maybe even a 10-man rotation now, right? They played 4 players off the bench. Can we see this be sustainable for game 4, right? Can we find ways to use Shamet more, to use Wright more, whose length was imperative last night? Because Indiana's going to play a lot of guys, and their pace is going to be, pun intended here, what they try to do. Can we see something that we saw in game 3 be replicated now in a game 4? But just a stunning turn of events. You won't find, I think, many Knicks fans, if they're being honest with you, who saw this coming when they looked dead. It looked like a funeral. It felt like a funeral. A team that has been so resilient all year, I couldn't believe they came out the way they did. They just never gave up, man. They overcame a 6 for 18 night from Mikal Bridges shooting-wise, a 6 for 18 night shooting game from Jalen Brunson. Just unreal, man. Unbelievable. Look, the starting lineup change, I don't know if it had a major impact or not because the Knicks still ended up trailing. But I think having Hart be the selfless player that he is does help the bench unit. And Hart ends up playing 34 minutes and is out there in closing time anyway. Played the entire fourth quarter. Ultimately, the key to winning a game 4 is going to be Brunson being a lot better, staying out of foul trouble. And can you get another clutch performance from a guy like Deuce McBride? Landry Shamet, whose defense was critical and hit a big 3 as part of this comeback. I mean, it really took everything last night for the Knicks to win that game. Just unbelievable to win that game with Brunson playing as poor as he did for a lot of it. It's stunning because when the Knicks have won, a lot of times it's the Jalen Brunson show carrying them. And last night it was Cat. And once again, we talked about him at the top. Just want to highlight how impressive that was, man. I mean, that's why Karl-Anthony Towns is an all-NBA player. And just the way it happened, right? It's not like he was having a great game throughout and he was the only one. He was so bad. I had tweets last night of me just hammering Cat, talking about his poor shot selections in the first half. I thought he was awful. The terrible fouls. How about the foul he picks up at the end of the quarter, which gives Indiana 2 free throws, where he bumps the guy? Probably a bit of a soft call. But you know what? You got to be smarter out there. And they overcame all that. They overcame Deuce picking up the 3 quick fouls in the first half. That's why he barely played in the first half. Yeah, you look at the minutes played last night in the box score. Deuce McBride only played 15 minutes. Yeah, because they all happened in the second half. Because he only played a minute and 40 seconds in the first half. But Cat was just amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. And if you're a Knicks fan, oh my God, you got to be feeling like you have a new lease on life. You're alive. You're alive. You guarantee yourself now another game at the Garden. But put the pressure on the Indiana Pacers. Beat them tomorrow. Even up this series. You're 6-1 on the road in these playoffs. Let's get to 7-1. Why not? Why not? You can't tell me it's not possible. Knicks won that game and their best player wasn't a part of it for a lot of it. You don't think Jalen Brunson's due for a bounce back now? That's his history. Very rarely does he have more than one bad game in a row. And last night, I think you could argue it was maybe his worst game he's had as a Knick in the playoffs. And they still won. What a team effort, gutty effort, defensively. They finally played defense. That's really so much of this. And let's not discount how big of a deal it was when Aaron Nesmith got hurt. When Nesmith got hurt, that's when the Knicks really started to go on their rally. He's such a good defender. He's so key to what they do. It was huge. And last night, thankfully, Tyrese Halliburton was only 2 of 8 from 3. Indiana didn't shoot the 3 ball well last night. Some of it was the Knicks defense, but ultimately, they were just 5 of 25 as a team. And Indiana is similar to the Knicks in that they play better on the road as well than they do at home. But the Knicks couldn't worry about anything. They had to just win a game. Win a game, stabilize things, guarantee yourself another game at the Garden, which you now have done, right? Game 5, win or lose game 4 tomorrow, will be played at Madison Square Garden on Thursday. But what a win, man. Just so many heroes last night, but Cat had his Knick moment. If they go on to win this series, we will talk about the Game 3 win in Indiana that saved the Knicks season. Down 20 late in the first half, And even to me, the bigger deal was being down 15 late in the third quarter. And I really think the more underrated moments of the game, and I'll say it again for those just tuning in, was truly the McBride individual run. I think he went on a 6 or 7-0 run by himself at the end of that third quarter. And it got the Knicks right back into it. And it gave them a chance. Just an unbelievable performance by Cat, the unsung heroes by the guys off the bench. And give credit to the head coach, Tom Thibodeau. Now, I think part of the reason Tom Thibodeau had to go out there and play some of these guys the minutes he did was because of some of the foul trouble. But is there anything that we saw from the Knicks last night that they now can replicate going into game 4? That's what I'm looking to see. I think you got to play DeLon Wright. I think you got to play Landry Shamet. You got to see if their defense can go out there and help you. I mean, at one point, the Knicks are running a lineup where the only true scorer they had out there, offensive player, was Cat. We know he's not a good defender, but you need someone to score. And oh, did he score. Just unreal, man. Unreal. So happy. Knicks fans deserve this. This team could not go down 0-3. Not after the season they've had. It just didn't feel right. This team's been resilient all year. Were they really going to fall apart at the end there? That's it? They were going to go down on a whimper like that? Oh, man. What a Knick win. What a Knick win. If you're watching this, this is a Jake Asman Knick show. We'll do our usual Jet show here on Memorial Day at 11 a.m. Eastern time if you're watching live. If you're not watching live and you're new to the show, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This channel usually covers the New York Jets, but I'm a diehard Knicks fan, so we're doing some more Knicks content on the channel here. So make sure you subscribe and check me out on ESPN New York or SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Some super chats here, plus your regular comments. Super chat from Alan, who checks in with a $20 super chat. And Knicks fans, every $10 super chat or more, you're in the raffle for 2 entries. $20 super chat, you're in the raffle for 10. Knicks fans, we're giving away this week on the show a signed Walt Clyde Frazier jersey. Also, our other prizes include a Joe Namath jersey and a CJ Mosley jersey, all signed and authenticated. What a win for the New York Knicks. Alan says that game was wild. I haven't screamed at the TV like that in a good way in 15 years. Knicks need to make it happen and win this series. LFG Jake. Amen, Alan. Because that's the type of win that has to be the catalyst to coming back and winning the series now, which felt like incredibly long odds. And they're still long odds if you just look at the history of basketball. But this Knicks team, I think, is different than some of the teams in history, right? I think they're better than Indiana. I still believe that. I mean, the Knicks should be up 2-1 right now, if we're being honest. I mean, I'll never forgive them for the game 1 loss if they don't win this series. But you can't worry about that. You got to flush it. And you got to just win game 4 and get it even with a best of 3 at the Garden where you have 2 of your 3 games in your building, which might not actually be a good thing, but I think, gun to your head, you still prefer to have a game 7 potentially at home, right? But what a win, man. What a win. And it's just, as they were starting to mount the comeback, I didn't want to get too excited because we've seen, like, the classic Knicks fake comeback. But when Cat was just hitting shot after, you're just thinking, no way are they going to do this. No way. 20 of his 24 in the fourth quarter for Karl-Anthony Towns. He became a Knick last night. I know Kendrick Perkins said that, but that was truly a Knick moment. You know, Cat had that great game 4 against Detroit in the first round series. I thought he played really well in game 4 and game 6 against the Celtics, but this was a different level of, here's a superstar who truly played like a superstar last night. When his team needed it, when the best player on the floor in Brunson wasn't on the floor because he couldn't stay out of foul trouble, this guy stepped up and took over the game, and it was amazing to watch. TH3 Entertainment in the Asmaniac raffle for 2 with this $10 super chat. Comeback was incredible. Had to overcome the worst officiating of the playoffs in addition to the 20-point deficit. Sick of all the ISO ball, though, when Brunson is on the court and trying to force feed him. LFG Knicks. Look, they were in a spot where because he was in foul trouble, other guys had to step up, and you weren't sure if they were capable of doing it. And God, was it amazing to see that they were. But they were ready for the moment. It's just a sensational win. And hopefully this is now the confidence they need to go out there and, put together a full game. Put together a game 4 that is still paramount that they win. Super chat from Jenner G. She's in our raffle for 5. Tibbs finally made adjustments and trusted his bench. DeLon Wright, Shamet, Deuce. First half wasn't pretty. Second half was grimy. Bodega Cat was cooking up bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches. Let's go. Yeah.
Hey, go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
I mean, Cat was amazing. He was. You tip your cap to him. Now, you got to hope that you get way more from Mikal Bridges in a game number 5. His defense was really good last night. But they need more offensively from him. Obviously, you expect Jalen Brunson to play a lot better. And I would like to see more Shamet and Wright minutes because they're good defensively. You don't feel like you're going to get exposed with them out there. I don't know if it was necessarily like Tibbs trusting his bench. I think he just trusted the right players, right? Like we didn't get the 9 minutes of campaign that we got the other night when the games were at the Garden. We got guys who were out there who were defensive-minded players, and that's what Rick Carlisle was talking about last night. Indy Jets, who's a Pacers fan, says it's more about how bad the Pacers played in the second half than how good the Knicks played. See, I disagree with that, Indy, because you couldn't stop Karl-Anthony Towns. You had one of the best players in the NBA play like it last night. An all-NBA player went in the God mode. And the Knicks clamped down defensively. I mean, and if we're going to play that game, then what's the excuse for game 1? It should be 2-1 Knicks right now, not the other way around. V-Man with a super chat. The one game I don't watch is the one they win. Well, V-Man, you better not be watching tomorrow night. Leany says, I'm still pissed about game 1, but we need to look forward and win game 4, one game at a time. Got to win tomorrow now, right? Gotta win tomorrow. Even up the series. Make it a best of 3 with 2 of the games in your building. Which, once again, might not be the best thing given how the Knicks play better on the road than they do at home. Unreal. Matthias says, Pacers were outcoached in the second half. I just think the Knicks executed, man. We make so much of it about coaching. It's a players' league. Karl-Anthony Towns, if he doesn't go into God mode, they lose. The man had 4 points going into the fourth quarter. Knicks looked dead, and he scored 20 and took over the game and hit big shot after big shot. Like sometimes we make it too much about, coaching, this and that. And it's like, I think what happened was a great player got as hot as one could be. Truly was stunning. Unreal, man. Unreal. I'm so happy. We got a series. Charging back down 20. Wow. I mean, it just felt like they're going to be down 3-0. I mean, the Knicks never led by more than 4 in this game until the final free throws with 2.6 seconds left. You can't make it up. Unbelievable. Great win, man. Great win for the Knicks. Happy for all the Knicks fans. And we got a series now. We got a real series. And maybe we should have expected this, right? A Knicks Pacers series in the postseason can't end in a whimper where one team goes up 3-0 on the other team. This rivalry historically is just too good for that. Unbelievable. Let's go Knicks, baby. Back in the series. Game 4 tomorrow night. Knicks have a chance to even things up and give themselves a chance to pull off what would be one of the most satisfying come-from-behind series wins of my lifetime rooting for any of my teams. Unreal. Thank you to all the Knicks fans who tuned in, everyone who sent in a super chat. We'll do more Knicks content on the channel. On my usual Jet show coming up, I'm going to talk plenty about the Knicks with callers as well. So tune into that. I end the show with a message. The message, go New York, go New York, go. Let's go Knicks, baby.
Go